Okay, so I want to talk real quickly about people who say prepare yourselves. I've just been seeing the title of the videos like on YouTube or whatever. I don't click on them because I don't feel like taking in these people's realities, okay? And I'm not against them who say that. I'm not trying to criticize anybody's content, but this is what I want to say. In my opinion, the best way to prepare yourselves is spiritually, any way you know how. Now, I'm not against the physical part of preparation, like, stock up on food and seeds. If you have a garden, some people live in apartments and still, have little mini gardens in apartments. They sit there, little pots in the windows to get sunlight or whatever. So everybody don't have to have a huge yard for that. So, no excuses, not too many excuses with, planting little things if you want to plant. But, so what I'm saying is I'm not against the silver and the gold and all that stuff and investing or whatever you want to do. Or even just getting away, you know. I'm not against any of that. But what I will say, though, is that when you say prepare yourselves, and it's mostly when some of these people that I have seen in the past, most of the time when they talk about prepare yourselves, they're only talking about the physical aspect of it, like investing in silver and gold, and probably moving to the country, which everybody is just not realistic for them to do, because if everybody moved to the country, the city would be country. The country will no longer be country. The city would be country. Okay, so it's just not realistic to keep giving that kind of advice to tell every single person to move to the country, because it will become congested. It'll become the city. Okay, but yeah, and so and it's not realistic to tell everybody to get a passport, a flight, and just move outside of the United States. Okay, and I'm gonna get back on that at the end, but this is what I want to say though. The best way you know how is, for me, the best thing is to prepare spiritually and to understand who you truly are, and so you can get the best advice from your true self. I said this in the previous one, it's good and beneficial to speak to yourself. Now, when I said that, I didn't say that to put down anybody else who doesn't give me the answers that I think I need. That was to get to know yourself and not to rely on other people and not be dependent on other people. And I had to learn that, but I think all of us had to learn that, okay? So, in my last upload, when I say it's beneficial to talk to yourself, it's beneficial for everybody to talk to themselves, to get to know their true self. They're going to get the best advice from their true self, because their true self is what you call God. So you're going to get better advice from your true self than you can pretty much anybody, because nobody's going to sit down and meditate and invest in you until they give you some kind of correct answer, because they have their own lives to deal with. So I never really, we all had to get out of this. We always thought that we needed something outside of ourselves, especially with religion and all of that stuff. And even outside of religion, when people practice spiritual stuff, they still dealing with deities outside of themselves again, right? People, so either way, religion or not religion, people are still kind of looking to something outside of themselves. Even when I went to India, look at Ganesh, look at Lakshmi, people are constantly looking to something outside of themselves. So that's what I mean when I say it's good to speak to yourself, good to get to know all different aspects of yourself. Because there's an aspect of yourself that's a Ganesha. There's an aspect of yourself that is Lakshmi. There's an aspect of yourself that is Fortuna. It's a goddess named Fortuna. There's an aspect of yourself that is just about every goddess, right? Or God. Archangel Michael, Archangel whoever. There's an aspect of yourself that is all those things, right? But see, we have been taught to look at stuff outside of ourselves, right? So that's what I mean by that. It's not to try to, put somebody down because they didn't give me the right answer that I needed that would have helped me. That's not their responsibility, because they got their own, they need to get the log out of their own eye. Most people have to get the log out of their own eyes, unless I'm paying for professional help, right? Unless I am paying for professional help. It's most people got to get the log out of their own eye. I don't expect somebody to sit down and figure out my problems. But getting to the point of the prepare yourselves, right? I just wanted to say that real quick. Most people, when they talk about prepare yourself, let me say something. When these people want to talk about prepare yourselves, and like I said, I'm not against that, but just know that what these folks have planned, they're always going to be several steps ahead. If you say that you're going to invest in silver and gold because China's new way of what you call it, I forgot, a new currency, your money needs to be backed up by silver and gold or something like that, right? So I'm not against just using, sense and learning how to invest in the correct things or whatever. But my point is that the people who are running the show are several steps ahead of that. If they want to mess you up, they're going to mess you up. You can invest in all the silver and gold. You can buy all the seeds you want and plant all the gardens you want. You can stock up all the food that you want. You can get all the canned goods that you want. You can move to the country if you want. The people, the entities, and I say entities because we don't know who they are. Everybody keep wanting to call Bill Gates. Bill Gates ain't the head honcho in charge. The head honcho in charge, we never even seen probably. Or if we have seen them, they probably just look like a regular person. So we'll just think they're average Joe Smo, right? The head honcho might just look like an average Joe Smo. And what I'm saying is that they are aware of the YouTube videos out there telling you how to prepare yourself, right? They are aware of the YouTube videos. So most likely, yeah, you can do everything these folks on YouTube tell you to do. And I'm not against it at all. There's nothing wrong with a little gold and silver, okay? My point is that if these individuals, if these entities, they want to do some harm to you, they're going to do some harm to you. And what I mean by that is that if you only rely on the physical part of preparing yourself, thinking you're going to buy a bunch of silver and gold, thinking you're just going to move to the country, think you're just going to stock up on food and seeds, and you think, oh, I'm safe because I did all of this, but you really did prepare yourself spiritually, they're going to get you. They're going to be able to get you because they're already probably 1,000 steps ahead of that right there. They're 1,000 steps ahead of the silver and gold. They're already 1,000 steps ahead of people who want to go to the country. They are already ahead because they have watched all the videos on YouTube of all these warnings. Not to mention they got satellites all over the place so they can figure out where you are. Even if you decide to hide under a rock, you'll be found because the satellites all over the place. This is why I never understand why crimes are not solved. It's not solved because they don't want to solve it. Okay, they don't want to put in the money to help people. Okay, because there's satellites all over the place. If you want to be found, if they want to know where you are, they will find you. I mean, Dick Gregory talked about how he was somewhere in New York and somebody showed him something. Somebody was able to see him all the way. I think he said somebody was able to see him all the way from Russia. Somebody from Russia knew his exact location in New York City at the in real time, that is, right? In real time. Because it was a satellite that showed his exact location. So this person all the way in Russia, I think he said Russia. If he doesn't say Russia, let's just say Russia, okay? Because it doesn't matter if I'm correct in Russia or China, wherever it is. The point is that he said he was in New York. And he said that somebody in real time knew exactly where he was because they were watching him through a satellite all the way in Russia. So what I'm telling you is that you can hide under a rock, you can go under the underground, whatever, and it's nothing. Like I say again, it's nothing wrong with that. I probably would like the country too because I get a little tired of I don't like the consciousness is it's good to get to a place where there's not too many thought forms, not too many people. So that's why I would like to go to the country, not because I'm trying to run away. It's because it's good to get to an area that's more nature, because you do get closer to yourself, which is, I say, God. You get closer to God, which is, I say, your true self, because it's not a whole lot of other thought forms out there where multiple people have been. It's not a whole bunch of thought forms and confused thought forms, and there's not a bunch of spirits and energies out there that you have to navigate through, because you're in a country and there's hardly anybody out there. So you get closer to yourself, which is I call God, because there's not too many negative energies out there. It's not too many negative thought forms, okay? So I do like the country for that reason, but not thinking I'm going to run from somebody because they got satellites watching you everywhere you go. And so my point, that's what I'm saying, is that the best way to end this, I think I'm going to say something at the end too, but the best way to end this, the best way to prepare, in my opinion, is spiritually, and then the physical part comes secondary. But I think the first thing is spiritual, and that's the most important. And the secondary is the physical stuff with the money, the silver and gold, and the food and all that stuff, right? Okay. So, and what else? I was thinking of something else. But that's okay. It might not have been that important. I probably already said it. But anyway, yeah, that's all I want to talk about is people who just keep saying, prepare yourself, prepare yourself, prepare yourself. Trust me, the people who keep saying prepare yourselves, they're not as prepared as they think. If somebody wants them dead, they're going to be dead. That's all I'm saying. The people who keep telling you to prepare yourselves, to keep uploading these videos, they're not as prepared as they think they are. If somebody wants them dead, they're going to be dead. I don't care what kind of spirits they got around them. I don't care how much, whatever they practice in, Santeria, voodoo, hoodoo, whatever it is that they're practicing. If somebody wants them dead, they're going to be dead, okay? Because they don't even know who's in charge, but the people in charge know exactly who they are, and they're looking at their videos, and they're watching them through a satellite. But they don't know who's watching them. So if they want to strike you down on the spot, they're going to strike you down on the spot while you're telling other people to prepare themselves. So just know, that's what I'm saying. Is you really don't know how to prepare you. I'm just going to say, you really don't know the best way to prepare yourself, because they know your plans, but you don't know their plans. And whatever, especially with the silver and gold and all that stuff, they're already several steps ahead. So if they want to mess you up and have you go broke and take everything, even with all of your investing in silver and gold, and move to the country, they can manipulate the weather like they always have a tornado come out there and tear that house down, because they've done it before. Tear that house down. Liquid Katrina, because by now it's almost like common news that Katrina was manipulated, like that was weather modification. By now, the levees were weak on purpose, and they purposely allowed the waters to break through those levees. So that's what I'm saying. Look at New Orleans as a perfect example of somebody who felt like they probably was preparing. It was like a couple who were doctors, so both of them make 6 figures apiece, right? Stayed in a nice big house, had plenty of money up in the bank. But guess what happened when Katrina hit? All the banks were closed. Everything was underwater. They did not have access to their money. Their houses were completely gone. And so if they had some stuff, silver and gold, saved in their house, it was gone. And whatever else they could have had access to something outside of United States, where they would have had a hard time getting to it around that time. Let me tell you, what happened was they ended up staying in the food shelter line along with everybody else, right? So nobody can tell the people who were homeless before that from the people who were homeless because of Katrina, because everybody was in the same boat. These 2 doctors making 6 figures apiece with their big house and all their money saved up didn't have nothing when Katrina tore down their house. And all of this stuff of them preparing probably was in that house is gone too. Now, this is not to scare you and tell you not to prepare. What I'm saying is that the spiritual part just has, in my opinion, has to come first. That's my whole point. It's not to scare you and say don't prepare because all your house going to be torn down. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that depending on the physical first could get you in trouble, because these entities that's running the show is already several steps ahead, and if they're watching you. If they want you dead, they're going to kill you. They already know who you are and where you are. They already know. Okay? But it's still not to say not to prepare. It just shouldn't be, for me, it shouldn't be the very first thing above your spirituality. Because your true self is going to tell you exactly what you need to do and where you need to go. okay, and what you need to buy and all whatever you need to do. Because I'm going to be honest with you, some people, spirits is not telling them to invest in cryptocurrency. Now, this is what some people are saying, right? I don't know, because I'm not going to try to find out what spirit is telling them. I'm not going to try to find that out. But I've heard some people that say spirit is right now is telling me not to deal with that cryptocurrency right now. But see, that could be because of the particular reality they're going to be in. I don't know what everybody, and that's another thing. Everybody's in a different reality. So when people talk about always happen and prepare yourselves, well, that could be something that's going on in their reality that might not be something going on in somebody else's reality. Like a lot of people say invest in cryptocurrency, but this lady said spirit told her not to get into cryptocurrency. So ain't no telling what's going to happen to her in her reality. Okay? This is why it's important to know how to talk to yourself. That's why I uploaded a video earlier saying talk to yourself. Because the wiser parts of yourself will speak back and tell you more valuable information than somebody else can tell you, because nobody else is responsible for investing in your life so much that they give you all this wonderful advice. Really, nobody's responsible to feed into your life like that. Okay? Unless you're paying them for services. Unless you're paying for services, nobody's responsible just to keep giving you all the answers. But other than that, I will talk later.